Hey guys, welcome to another episode at Tech Cloud TV. It's Trung here. So today I have a special guest, a project which I've been watching for the last 2 years. The project, of course, is called Vault12, and I have the CIO, Wasim Ahmad. How are you, Wasim?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good. Bit early this morning, but yeah, taking the time to speak to you. I'm excited. I'm excited to learn where the project's been for the last 2 years. I've been watching it closely, but if we can share information about where we are. So let's start with just give the elevated picture of I guess what Vault 12 is for everyone out
Sure,
there.
sure. So it's a system that we created to solve one very specific problem, which is to give you a way to back up your digital assets. And in the cryptocurrency world, that pretty much means backing up your private keys and backing up your seed phrases. And so we have it's a mobile system. You download an app, you set up a digital vault, you assign people that you know and trust, your guardians, hopefully friends and family, to guard that vault. And then you add assets into the vault. And when you add an asset into a vault, it gets encrypted and split, and pieces of that asset get sent out to each of your guardians. And then when you want to access the asset, then you just make a request, and as soon as your guardians or a subset of your guardians press OK, the asset is kind of recombined, and then you have access to it. So completely decentralized, no paper needed, and a completely digital way to back really, really important things up.
Yeah, so I guess we're seeing in the past, or I guess currently, is what happens is someone's in the crypto and then they lose their private keys. So does this guard against that with that technology that you just spoken about?
So what this does is it's a backup. So you have to plan to back things up, and the if you lose if you lose your bit of paper, which is generally wallets will tell you back everything up on a piece of paper. In fact, I did a survey, and 18 out of 20 wallets that I looked at had only one way to back your seed phrase, and that was to write it down on a piece of
Pretty much.
paper.
Yeah.
So if you lose that piece of paper, or you can't read the writing, or you had to leave it behind because you had to leave the city to go quarantine somewhere else, or there was a fire like we had in 2019, fires everywhere, including where you are and certainly in California. Then what do you do? If the backup's gone, you won't be able to access. So this is a way of safeguarding that backup and making sure that you can get hold of it, you can recover it, no matter what. No matter if you lose your phone, no matter if you have an argument with your guardian and you want to replace them. So in all of those scenarios, we've made sure that the process of recovering is something that that can be achieved easily.
Yeah. So if I set up my I guess my grandma or grandfather with the system, it's pretty much I find it's a bit more foolproof than what we have now, because I have a concern, I guess, with getting people into crypto, and I always have that concern that they're gonna lose their private keys. Just a responsibility.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because in the US, Coinbase put out a note, I think in April, May, that they were seeing an increase in accounts being created on Coinbase that were funded to the tune of $1,200, and that's the same amount as the checks that were mailed out by the government. So clearly, some people, not everyone, but some people were thinking about, well, we're living in uncertain times. Maybe I should have an investment strategy around crypto, and they were just getting into crypto. And so there is going to be, a new influx of people, and they don't have the history of how much security you need to think about and what you have to do and all of the things that people 10 years ago did.
Mm.
And so it's a whole new world from a crypto newbie perspective. And so we're actually planning to create a bunch of guides to help people understand how much security they need and what the options are, and kind of help them through that process. And obviously we want them to back everything up in Vault 12.
Yeah, it sounds like a system that's definitely needed. right now, because yeah, if you get on a new exchange or you open a new wallet, there's multiple wallets. Yeah, just keeping up with all these things. If you want a tech person, it's I find it really difficult to explain to a lot of people. Um, I I I get a lot of calls saying that, oh, I want to buy this crypto, and then just explaining, I guess, different wallets and the security systems. It gets people's eyes rolling. They get to a point where they don't know what I'm talking about anymore. You know, just being a technical person, and this channel is about, I guess, education. That's why we, yeah, it's great to have you on, and to talk about your project. So let's
Thank
let's
you.
get back into your project, and let's talk about the roadmap, where we've gone, I guess, from the ICO up to where we are now.
Sure. So we did our ICO in sort of May, June, July of 2018. So it was pretty much the last ICO uh, of that era. And then we went into beta in the fall of 2018, and then in 2019 we launched the product. So we launched the app. It went up on the App Store, both iOS and Android, in October of 2019. And so it's been available generally in a kind of a free trial mode. And then in April, at the end of April, um, we completed the payments mechanisms so that you could fund your account with VGT, with the Vault Guardian token, and also with Ethereum. And so that's been live for, let's say, the last sort of 5, 6 weeks. And people are encouraged to kind of set everything up in a free trial account, and then at the end of that trial period, they can either continue for free or they can sign up for subscriptions.
Cool. Can we talk about, I guess, it's been a hot topic, the exchanges, and I guess the regulations, because we know that things have changed since 2 years in crypto land. Maybe give the, I guess, the community understanding of where you are with all that, and the process it takes to actually get listed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think when we did the ICO in 2018, everyone was talking about how there was going to be so many exchanges that could deal with the tokens, and in reality, that never happened in 2018. That didn't really happen in 2019, and so it's been very frustrating, I think, for everyone, from that perspective. But this year, um, one of the SEC commissioners announced in February that they had looked at a number of projects, and they had realized that while these projects, from a U.S. securities law perspective, were dealing with security tokens, in fact, when you look at how those tokens were being used and the purpose of those tokens, it was very clear that they were utility tokens, in fact, or they were being used to purchase goods and services on the actual platform. And that's exactly what Vault12 is, and that's exactly what VGT is. It was as if they read one of our white papers and realized that everyone was kind of in this paradox. And so there's now a proposal that is, hopefully, I think it's gaining momentum, that will result in something called an SEC safe harbor, which will allow companies like Vault12 to treat the token as a utility token and distribute it to people as needed. And that then fulfills the full sort of potential of the platform and the incentives and all of those kinds of things. So we're working with the SEC, hopefully to convince them to fast track us, since we're ready to go. We're not developing anymore. The app is live in the App Store. Everything's ready to go. So that's where we're at.
Cool. Thanks for that. And the last thing is, when I do research on this project, you have a really strong team and strong team of advisors. Just wanted to know, I guess, the Winklevoss Winklevoss twins, um, how involved are they? And also Naval. These are landmark, I guess, um, yeah, people in crypto. So
Right,
I guess
they're
I want,
original
yeah.
gangsters, right?
Original gangsters, yeah, New York them. Yes, I
Yeah,
just wanted to know,
absolutely.
yeah. How involved are they, in terms of Vault12?
So, I mean, we keep in touch with Winklevoss Capital. multiple people, including the twins, and there's been a lot of evolution in their businesses, Gemini, etc., and kind of what's the scope of the solutions and services that they offer. And
Mm.
so we make sure that they're up to speed with what we're doing, and we know what they're up to. And then that's kind of in New York, and then in California, which is where Naval is. He's also kept up to date, and has ideas and um, things that we should think about. So it's a good sort of supportive, constructive relationship.
Cool. Because I found that I guess a lot of crypto projects name a lot of I guess key people. They pay them with a bunch of tokens, and you never hear of them again. So it's refreshing that yeah, that they actually involve and have a hand, I guess, in terms of the progression of this company, Vault12.
Yeah, we actually didn't do that. They are both investors from 2014, so they
Yep,
they invested in the company. Yeah.
yep, yep. That's cool. So yeah, yeah, I didn't have any, I guess, more questions. I just wanted to ask you, do you have any more, last I guess comments, or for the token holders out
Sure,
there?
sure. Yeah, so I mean, I think the first thing is, just to kind of wrap things up. So we did the ICO 2 years ago, and then we've delivered all of the pieces of that.
Mm,
So all of the functionality that's described in our white paper is now up in iOS App Store and Android App Store. So it's ready to download. Secondly, for VGT holders, and there's a whole bunch of them, um, there is a 50% discount. So if you use VGT to fund your account, there's a 50% discount over and above the discounts and all of that stuff that they already got when they pre-purchased the tokens. So that's available right now. And then we're planning some additional enhancements that are kind of very very interesting. And those capabilities we'll kind of talk more about in a couple of months. But one of them is all around the notion of seed phrases and being able to generate seed phrases as well as ingest seed phrases. So it just makes it just we're coming up with new ways that you can just very easily back those things up. So that's one area, and another area that we're very excited about, um, and we have a little more work to do in terms of designing it, but is the notion of how do you ensure that your assets are always accessible, and not just accessible to you, but if you're in a if you're trying to pass them on to others, is there an easy way with what we're doing with the backups? Can we make sure that that access can be granted to other people? So we call that crypto inheritance, and we have
yeah.
again we have some work to do, and so there'll be more noise about that in a few months' time.
Definitely. I'm excited to hear about these updates. I guess yeah, I haven't heard of these ones before. So I guess you can leave inheritance to someone, crypto inheritance. So say like if you had crypto and you have a private key and you had it in your drawer or something, or you placed it in a bank and no one knew about it, it doesn't just disappear with you. It actually
Right,
you
that's
pass it
what
on.
that's one. We might not call it inheritance,
Okay.
but because that's very specific.
Mm,
But yes, I mean the idea that you have an asset, and then how do you make sure that other people can access that when they need to, and then what are the safeguards that you put in? So that's there's some work there for sure. And then we've done some kind of more educational stuff. So now if one of your viewers is interested in trying it out, obviously they can download it. They can download it for free, try it out, uh, and actually they can use it for free for as long as they want. They'll just get some pop-ups.
mm,
But if you want to try it out and have someone kind of walk you through so that you can see the whole process of how do I get a guardian? Because often our guardians are people that maybe are not so technically savvy, and you just want to experience what all the pieces are. We're actually doing these hands-on sessions. We do them on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you can just go to our website and book one, and then we'll kind of walk you through. So it's just a way to kind of dip your toes in slowly and get a real feeling for what's involved.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely do something like that. Maybe on my phone and do a screen recording. So then it allows people to give an idea how easy it is to, I guess, you access your crypto using
Yeah.
Vault12 application. Cool. Yeah, thanks for catching up with us today. It's very in-depth knowledge that, and I guess it makes me excited about the project again. I haven't been, I guess, involved in crypto that much lately, but we've had a rebranding and we're getting more into it. Yeah, so thanks for taking the time from New York,
You're welcome.
from your
Thank you.
busy schedule. Yeah, you have a massive project that can onboard, I guess, billions of people. So yeah, definitely thanks for that. Yeah, so I'll put it to, I guess, my viewers. Yeah, like, subscribe, share. I've really enjoyed today's interview. Hopefully, we can catch up with you again in future. Uh,
Great.
thanks,
Absolutely.
thanks, thanks for your time. Hope you're staying well.